Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Battle Breakdown. This week I'm going to focus on two matches I had back to back where I got to use the M8 Greyhound in both pretty much the whole time. This might be my favorite ground-based vehicle in Battlefield 5. This thing's just amazing and fun to use. Previous video with the Staghound, I mentioned my propensity for liking the little fast, lightly armored vehicles, and honestly this is probably the best one. So I'll chime in here and there and mostly just let you enjoy the footage. Remember this mine, it'll come into play later. So right here I noticed a tank in the distance headed our way from the airfield capture point. The way I like to play the Greyhound is by using mainly the element of surprise and its superior agility. So I'm going to use the terrain to my advantage, hang out right here, let him get a little closer. Try to keep an eye on where I think he's looking, which it looks like he's taking shots at the D point off to the right, so that way I know what kind of his line of sight is. Of course, if they're in third person, like I am, doesn't really matter, but it's just good information to try and use. Remember this mine, it'll come into play later. Okay, now this I have to explain. I tend to do pretty good in tanks, but every once in a while I have this issue that a good friend and battle buddy of mine, way back in the day, coined the term. I tend to Austin Powers myself, which is I'll just be driving around, ram into something, and have to back up and K-turn. You know that one scene from Austin Powers. It tends to happen to me more than it really should. It usually ends up bad, sometimes it doesn't. So just for fun, let's keep track of how many times that happens to me in this match. I bet you can guess.
Have a look here.
So on my way back to F, I noticed this Jeep making its way towards the A point that we just captured. I tend to think A is one of the most important points on Al Sundan. And for one thing, a lot of people, it's kind of out of the way, not too many people go to it. It may be closer to the Axis deployment, but it seems that most people tend to ignore it. The other important thing is that it gives additional plane spawns, which on a map like this in the right hands, planes can be very annoying. Missed a couple easy shots and lost them in the terrain there for a second, but if you check the kill feed and notice the explosion off in the distance, that mine from earlier kept them from getting to A. And here you may think this should count as an Austin Powers count, but I just wanted to rub it in that they didn't make it. And I was still a little too distracted by that fact that I didn't even notice the Tiger rolling in from their deployment, and he took care of me pretty quick.
I don't want to die. Danger! Over there! Many thanks! Yep.
I wanted to leave this infantry kill for my gunner, but somebody else had to end up taking care of it. And we'll finish out this match at the top of C. Did pretty good, topped the scoreboard in that one, ended up 20-6. Doesn't really seem all that impressive, but I guess it was enough for this one. Going into the next match, we are in Provence, which actually started out originally as a squad conquest map. After some community outcry, they ended up expanding from the ABC little city points to include D and E for a regular size conquest map, which I think was a great idea. I enjoyed this map enough as squad conquest, but really shines as a regular conquest map. Started out the match on foot, didn't really have much action going there, but ended up getting another M8 Greyhound, and that's where this match really took off. This Tiger tank ended up taking me by surprise. I saw one on the road that I was thinking about going for. What I wanted to do was drop a smoke screen here and loop around, keep going behind a D. I did a little bit too large of a loop, so he saw what I was doing, but it still got away. Definitely made a bit of a mistake here. You do not want to engage a Tiger tank head on in this thing. If they're using the heat rounds, they can one-shot you basically.
We need to keep control of this objective.
More help will be there soon.
Listen up! Defend the objective!
Hit a sick wall ride right here like I'm playing Tony Hawk. What I try to do when engaging heavier armor is to run circles around them, get shots off, disable the turret or tracks to kind of inhibit how much they can turn and track me. And I noticed he had a gunner get out, and as I'm going around I saw him prone by that fence, and I won't forget about him.
We must take control of that objective!
I don't know what blueberry left this Sherman tank just sitting out in the open empty. Usually if I see an empty vehicle in a bad situation, I'll just go ahead and blow it up. But I decided to have a little bit more faith this time. Dropped a smoke screen, hoping somebody would get in and save it, and looking at the mini-map, it looks like they did. Just barely missed swooping in for the kill steal on that tank. Ended up kind of stuck at a bad angle here. That is one small complaint about the Greyhound, is the aiming angles aren't that great. I wanted to save that tank from that infi that was pestering him, but I didn't get it in time. knew with all this smoke popping off that had to be a medic that had dropped down from on top of the bridge, so figured he was going for that guy that I had just killed. Decided to kill him again. Sometimes you just need a little splash damage to clean off the roof. Noticed a couple vehicles rolling in off in the distance. Decided to kind of sit back, weigh my options for a little bit, decide if I wanted to engage or not. It's really not the best scenario for a Greyhound to roll into, but I decided to press forward and let's see how that goes. That's one of my other complaints about the Greyhound. If you're turning in a tight circle and you shoot that howitzer, it can kind of throw you up on 2 wheels, I guess in this case 3 wheels, and it can be hard to recover from. It's also very susceptible to bouncing from the terrain, which usually throws some of my shots off. Thought about finishing it off here, but ended up leaving it so my teammate could steal it. Battlefield rule number 1, never, ever abandon a vehicle. Remember this mine, it'll come into play later.
Enemy tank up ahead!
Kinda lost track of where that tank was and blew my element of surprise. This whole engagement gets kinda awkward. At this point I was thinking I should probably just retreat. I was looking at C, but we didn't have it in our control, so I didn't want to go that way, so I decided to cut back up the river. I noticed the smoking tiger off in the distance. Figured since he's sitting still and just stopped smoking, he was probably in some kind of trouble, so thought I would see if I could finish him off, and ended up getting him with the very last shell. Do you remember that mine from earlier?
We cannot lose control of this objective.
This little blue car has seen a lot of action at this D point through this whole match.
Can't let the enemy take this objective.
The Gordon Fisherman's got some moves. That was a shot from a Sturmtiger, and I have no fucking clue how that didn't kill me. That should have evaporated me out of the server. And that's gonna wrap up this match with the M8 Greyhound. Ended up 36-4, not the top, but definitely did a lot more damage, I feel. Had a lot of fun making this, so if you enjoyed it, let me know what your favorite moment was, and stick around for some more fun.